and welcome back. It's Jason Walter here, and thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I want to give you guys a big update regarding foreclosures as well as mortgage delinquencies across the United States. There's actually two reports that was just announced last week from CoreLogic and also from Black Knight. So let's first go over the report from CoreLogic, which covers September 2022, and then Black Knight covers the data for October here. Can't talk today. Anyways, this is also my second time filming this video. For whatever reason, my first video did not work at all. The recording got deleted. So anyways, my second time making this video. Hope it's better than the first time. Anyways, let's go over CoreLogic's report. They have what's called their CoreLogic Loan Performance Insight Report, and this is through September 2022. And this covers mortgage delinquency rates on a national level, but also they cover rates on a statewide level as well as the metro level as well. And this report here is published monthly here. Again, this is only based on mortgages that are delinquent, at least 30 days or more past due. So have a look at this. For September 2022, the most recent data they have, because this report was just published last week on the 23rd of November, the national delinquency rate is at 2.8%. This means on average, out of all the mortgages out there, 2.8% of those are late on the mortgages of at least 30 days or more past due. So at least 30 days or more past due on the mortgages. National rate is at 2.8%. 1 year ago in September 2021, though, the rate was 3.9%. So in other words, the rate has decreased by 1.1 percentage points. And according to CoreLogic's principal economist, she stated the following here. All stages of delinquency remained low in September. Early stage, overall, and serious delinquencies were either at or below their pre-pandemic rates. Low unemployment, which also has returned to its levels seen before the COVID outbreak, is contributing to strong mortgage performance. However, as the U.S. enters a recession, increases in delinquency rates can be expected. Of course, there's a lot of discussion regarding, are we in a recession? Are we entering into one? Regardless of that, though, if we talk about the unemployment rate, in general, when the unemployment rate increases, delinquency rates and also foreclosures tend to increase as well. So therefore, I'll definitely keep you posted with latest developments and stay tuned on the channel for that. They also provide some insights regarding some select states across the United States here. So in Mississippi, their overall delinquency rate was at 5.3%, quite a bit higher than the national rate at 2.8%. So 5.3% in Mississippi, but that's down by 1.2 percentage points from September 2021. Also, Louisiana was at 5.2%, but also down big time, down by 2.9% from 1 year ago. So again, according to CoreLogic here, as of September 2022, 2.8% of mortgages out there were delinquent by at least 30 days. In other words, the homeowner is late on their housing payment by at least 30 days, 2.8% of the time here. That's the national rate. 1 year ago, it was 3.9%. So they provide some buckets of past due mortgages. As you can see right here, for all these buckets right here, more or less on par with last year's levels, because the dark green bars is this year and the more lighter green bars is 2021, September 2021. The only big difference I saw, except for this national rate down by 1.1 percentage points, is this right here. So mortgages of at least 120 days past due or more last year was actually 1%. Or actually, it was 2% last year, and now it's 1% this year. So not a big difference there, but the only big difference here regarding these other buckets right here. Also, for the number of houses in foreclosure, last year it was 0.2%, and now it's only 0.3%. So of all the mortgages out there, only 0.3% are actually in foreclosure right now. And stay tuned here in a little bit because I have some more data to share regarding foreclosures from Black Knight as of October 2022. So stay tuned for that. They also stated here that overall, U.S. mortgage delinquencies again hovered around near all-time record lows in September. However, with a potential recession and projected increase in the national unemployment rate looming, some uptick in delinquency rates could be expected in 2023. And have a look at this. This is pretty crazy. Approximately 99% of homeowners with a mortgage have a rate of less than 6%. So 99% of people who have mortgages right now have a rate of below 6% right now, which is pretty insane because have a look at this, because rates on a national average across the United States, according to the Mortgage News Daily. Look at this. Rates have been at or above 6% ever since the first part of September, ever since really August 31st of this year. So rates have been at or above 6% ever since August 31st of this year. So it's pretty wild to think that approximately 99% of people who have mortgages out there have rates below 6% right now. Also have a look at this because Black Knight reported about a month ago that roughly 90% of all people who have first mortgages on their houses have rates below 5%. So 90% have rates below 5% right now. And on a side note, this is one of the main reasons why I believe that new listings are down by double digits compared to last year. We're not seeing enough people listing their houses for sale because they don't want to give up their historically low rates, and also because the rates right now are well below rates we have right now. At the time of this video, which is the 29th of November, rates are approximately 6.6%. And according to CoreLogic, as a result of this, even if delinquency activity sees a minor increase, in other words, we see an increase in the number of people who are not paying their mortgages, an increase in delinquency activity that increases slightly, it's unlikely to cause the type of housing downturn that we saw during the Great Recession, when questionable underwriting practices allowed buyers to take out mortgages that obviously they could not afford. CoreLogic also provides some insights regarding what we're seeing right now at the statewide level. It says in September 2022, every single state logged year-over-year declines in their overall delinquency rates. In other words, there wasn't a single state that saw an increase in their overall delinquency rates in the US. And in fact, the states with the largest declines were Louisiana, down by 2.9% compared to 1 year ago, Hawaii, Nevada, and New Jersey, all down by 1.8%. So the biggest decrease that we saw across the United States was in Louisiana, down by 2.9% in their delinquency rate of at least 30 days or more past due. CoreLogic also provides some analysis regarding what we're seeing right now at the citywide level across the United States. And they looked at serious delinquencies, which are defined by homeowners who are at least 90 days or more past due on their mortgages here. They found here, based on their analysis, that there was not a single metro area where serious delinquency rate actually increased compared to 1 year ago. So in other words, every single US metro that CoreLogic tracks either was unchanged from last year or their serious delinquency rate actually decreased. And in fact, there was a total of 384 metros across the United States where the rate actually decreased. All right, that was CoreLogic's report for September. Let's have a look at October according to Black Knight. Black Knight also announced this on last week on November 22nd. And they say here the national delinquency rate rose 4.5% in October to 2.91%. So the national delinquency rate for mortgages, according to Black Knight, as of October is 2.91%. That's actually up 12 basis points since September, driven by a sharp 9.4% rise in 30-day delinquencies. So to briefly summarize this, as of September, the rate was 2.8%. But as of October, it rose to 2.91%. And that increase was driven by this 9.4% rise in delinquencies at least 30 days past due. They also stated here that Florida started to see some initial indication of the impact due to Hurricane Ian, which struck Florida in the end of September, so about 2 months ago. It says Florida led the jump in new early delinquencies, up by 19,000, with the state delinquency rate rising 53 basis points to 3.42%. So the statewide average for Florida was 3.42%, quite a bit higher than the national average at 2.91%. Black Knight also noted there was approximately 19,600 foreclosure starts in October, and that was a 7% rise from last month back in September. However, though, this is still 55% below pre-pandemic levels. So even with these 19,600 foreclosure starts for October, we're still about 55% below pre-pandemic levels. On top of that, active foreclosure inventory, which is of course the total number of houses that are foreclosed right now, that are technically for sale, held steady as volumes have remained subdued in 2022 due to still historically low foreclosure start levels. So what they're saying right here is that the total number of houses in foreclosure right now is at very, very low levels due to historically low foreclosure start levels. And speaking of foreclosures, have a look at this. Again, 19,600 was the number of foreclosure starts in October 2022. That's up by 6.52% from September 2022, or last month. But look at this, up by 390% on a year-over-year basis. So the number of foreclosure starts is up by 390,000 or 390% compared to 1 year ago, which obviously makes sense given the fact that we have a foreclosure moratorium in place for almost 2 years, dating back to 2020. I should say dating back to March of 2020 when the CARES Act was passed in the US. And also have a look at this. 1,557,000 is a total number of properties in the US that are at least 30 days or more past due, but not yet in foreclosure. So just under 1.6 million properties right now, they're at least 30 days or more past due, but again, not in foreclosure. That's up by 66,000 from 1 month ago, but down by 429,000 compared to 1 year ago. Also for properties at least 90 days or more past due, there was about 500,000 properties. That's down 7,000 from last month and also down by 555,000 from October 2021. There's also approximately 186,000 foreclosures right now, and that's up by 48,000 from 1 year ago. CoreLogic also provides some insights regarding the top 5 states that have the highest rates of non-current mortgages and also the top 5 states that have the lowest rates of non-current mortgages. So Mississippi actually led the nation. Their share of non-current mortgages is 6.5%. In other words, their delinquency rate is 6.5%. This is down from 13.5% or down 13.5% from 1 year ago, and also down from the peak back in October 2005. Look at that. The peak in Mississippi in October 2005 was 23%. So back then, that means approximately every 2 of every 10 houses were not current on their mortgages back in October 2005, compared to only 6.5% right now, which by the way is very close to all-time record lows that we saw back in March of 2000 when the rate was 5.5%. Now the rate is 6.5%. And after Mississippi was in Louisiana at 5.75%, down 34% on a year-over-year basis though, and very, very close to all-time record lows that we saw back in May of 2022. And after Louisiana was Oklahoma, then Alabama, and then West Virginia, rounding out the top 5. And after Louisiana was Oklahoma, Alabama, and West Virginia, running out the top 5 states that they had the highest share of mortgages that are not current. In contrast though, here are the top 5 states that have the lowest share of non-current mortgages here. Washington State led the nation at only a rate of 1.67% compared to Mississippi, 6.5%. That was followed by Idaho, California, Oregon, and then Colorado, all below 2.1%. And look at these year-over-year changes though. Every single one of these states decreased compared to 1 year ago by double digits. And California decreased by 24%. Look at this though. California, 1.84%. Look at the all-time record highs. Back in February 2010, when the rate was just less than 16%. Also, the all-time record lows was set in December 2004 when the rate was 1.53%. What I also found to be very interesting when looking at California versus Louisiana, for example, look at the peak. In Louisiana, the rate was 30%, but in California, the peak was only about 15.6%. Black Knight also provides some insights regarding which are the top 5 states that have the highest share of mortgages at least 90 days or more past due. And Mississippi led the nation at a rate of 2.38%, but that's down 38% on a year-over-year basis. Also well below the peak that we saw back in December 2005 when the rate was just over 10%. So at 2.38%, more or less very close to the all-time record lows that we saw back in May of 2000 when the rate was 1.14%. After Mississippi was actually Louisiana, followed by Alabama, Oklahoma, and then Arkansas. It's also worth noting here that each of these 5 states here, a decrease compared to 1 year ago by at least 38%. So in other words, a lot of improvement compared to 1 year ago. If you guys got any value in this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. Greatly appreciate that. Hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope you enjoyed watching this second time I made this video. I hope you guys have an awesome day.